Hi guys, welcome to Law Media. My name is Sarah. I'm going to be your host today. Thank you so much for choosing Law Media. Go ahead and subscribe down below. Today I wanted to come on and talk to everybody about wrongful conviction and exactly what that is. So wrongful conviction is basically when a person is convicted for a crime and they are actually factually innocent. It's a large or one of the biggest miscarriages of justice, and it's one of the things that we want to prevent. That's why there are so many steps in our legal or in our criminal justice process. So I wanted to talk about a guy named Ken Wyniemko. And Mr. Ken Wyniemko, he is a Michigan resident, and in 1994, he was sentenced to 40 years for criminal sexual conduct, breaking and entering, armed robbery. There was a slew of charges. And he ended up serving 9 years of that sentence, and the sentence was overturned and he was released. So I want to go ahead and talk about a few of the facts of that case. So in 1993, we have, actually, in 1994, it was around April. A Michigan woman says that she was sleeping and someone broke into her home. She says that that person had on a stocking mask or a nylon stocking over his head. And she said that person blindfolded her and began to rape her and attack her all over the home. She said that she was barely able to see him, but she did make a police composite sketch, and she also gave a description. She said that the person was around 6'2", 200 to 225 pounds, a white male, and he appeared to be 20 to 25 years old. So later on in that summer, I think in August, Mr. Ken Wyniemko, he was being held on a misdemeanor investigation with something completely unrelated. And police thought, like, hey, we have this sketch. This looks like him. Let's go ahead and put him in for a lineup. They call in the victim, and the victim the victim says, you know what, that's the person. She gives a positive identification. So they use that evidence along with the evidence of a jailhouse snitch. Now, this jailhouse snitch was facing a life sentence, and if he testifies or he makes a false statement or he makes a statement, then he is going to receive a 1-year sentence or a sentence that's less than 1 year for his testimony. So this snitch goes ahead and says that Mr. Wyniemko admitted to him that that he was involved in this act. And he said Mr. Wyniemko told him that he got rid of all the evidence. It turns out that this was, in fact, a lie. This jailhouse snitch, Mr. Glenn McCormick, he went ahead and he made these statements, but he said it was only after an assistant prosecutor and a police officer asked him to make the deal. He said that they basically left him alone with the police report and then came and asked him specific questions about, well, did he ever talk about it? And basically led him into making this statement. There was also some DNA evidence involved. The DNA evidence, basically, they found DNA evidence in the bed, and the person that it belonged to was type A, and the victim and the suspect both have type O blood. So it definitely, that particular DNA evidence did not belong to Mr. Wyniemko. So what happens is his particular attorney, he got a pro bono attorney, and they eventually got his case involved in an innocence project. And they eventually used the evidence from the snitch. They used the composite drawing, and they also used the DNA evidence to exonerate Mr. Wyniemko. Yay! It's just basically awful if, like, when we think of prison, it's definitely someplace that we want to avoid. So if you think of somebody that has been sent to prison and they did not deserve to be there, they definitely deserve to be compensated. In Mr. Ken Wyniemko's case, he received $3.8 million, and of course his conviction was overturned. So I just want to go on and talk about that and how awful that can be. And if you have family members or anybody that is experiencing that, I did meet Mr. Ken Wyniemko when I was involved and projects like that when I was in law school. And he, you know, he's very jolly now and he's very happy. But we want to make people whole. We don't want people out here suffering and going to prison when they didn't do anything, when they're factually innocent. It is a huge miscarriage of justice and is definitely something we want to avoid. So I wanted to come on and bring light to that. I hope you guys can go ahead and spread the word to others. Leave me a message or a comment if that has happened to you. We definitely would like to hear about it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Law Media. Thank you again for following us on Twitter. We also have Instagram, and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube below. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you for choosing Law Media.